and welcome to Barrel Proof, episode number 84. You're joining us at Tony Boombah's. We are the Coopers. Boys, how's everybody doing today?
Well, first I want to say that we are not only the Coopers, but we are the official and recognized fluffers of the front office, and we carry their water.
Well, we're going to get new jerseys made, from what I understand. We're going to get official barrel-proof
Fluffers. Fluffer till I die.
Yes. Tim said he's already got fluffer number 69 reserved.
You didn't know?
Yes, he did.
You
He's
didn't
already
know?
got that. He's already got that.
So are you a fluffy? If I'm a fluffer,
No,
can I be a fluffy?
Well,
I think the players and the team
Would
are
be-
fluffies. The one receiving the fluffing.
what is a group of fluffers?
Fluffers?
Oh, shit. Okay. I thought it'd be something like
A
fluffy.
flaggle? A flaggle of
A
fluffers?
flaggle of fluffers?
Okay.
Why not?
That's the podcast.
Fallacy?
That's the podcast Fluffcologist.
Fluff. Ooh.
A fluffologist?
So are we? We're properly fluffed. And again, thank you for joining us. My name's Timothy Clark. I'm joined by Brian Davis,
Hi.
Ken Luther.
Hello.
And on production tonight, we've got Tom Farmer.
Hey.
This is a new one for us. We've not been to Tony Boombah's before. We were in the back room. It was a little loud. Ken took care of business, and you might be able to hear some things besides the terrible music. And I believe we are watching some field hockey on a blue field.
Men's field hockey. I believe we have.
It's riveting.
Belgium and Netherlands, which is probably a huge rivalry.
Is it?
There are people crying in the stands. I don't
Really?
know what's going on. I don't understand field hockey.
I don't either.
My sisters play at the high school.
It's not like ice hockey.
Okay.
We can't get caught up. Quit getting caught up. Quit watching.
So some guy just took the ball, like a ball like in the air, caught it on his stick, and it was like a 40-yard pass.
Look at that thing. Okay, look.
I mean, it's impressive.
Okay. Focus. Focus. So let's start off. Did we watch any of the games, guys? I know you guys weren't at the game on Saturday or the Wednesday game, right? No, you were at the Wednesday game.
I was at the Wednesday game.
Yeah, I was there with you on the Wednesday
I didn't
game.
watch the game, but I
No.
was actually at the game.
How do we feel about run of form recently?
Well, hold on. Let's talk
Okay,
about what we
sorry.
did this weekend.
Sorry. Yeah,
All
what
right.
did you guys do?
So, I was at the game on Wednesday, and then an annual event that Rebecca and I do is we do the annual Humane Society Gala for the animals. So, we it's one of these fundraising things, and we do it every year. So, it's when it comes up, if there's a game, the choice is we go to the gala. So we went to the gala this year, but through the miracle of modern technology. I was able to stream the game on my phone. So here we are, we're well into the night, and they're starting to play the video, of all the dogs that have been abused and all the cats that have been abused. They're trying to, they're getting ready for the lot auction.
Was McLaughlin there?
Getting ready. I don't know. So it's like tear jerking.
Getting a little dusty inside.
A lot of dust, a lot of tears going on. And this, and Lou City's down 1-0, and this is right when we scored our goal.
And you're yelling.
I have the
You're laughing.
Dude, that was a Labrador with 3 legs.
And I'm like, "Arr!" And they score, and I'm like, "Ugh." Thank God it wasn't during the live auction, because I think I would have bought something.
Oh. We had to euthanize this dog yesterday. Yes!
Oh, no.
I swear that's what was happening.
You're like a Budweiser commercial or something, just walking, waiting to happen.
It was like America's Funniest Home Videos or something like that. Somebody listened. Go! It was pretty bad. Anyway, so that was my weekend.
Brian, what about you?
I'm having some back injury issues, so couldn't go to the game because I can't stand up that long to watch a game. It would have been terrible. So the wife took the wife out to movie night, went and saw Suicide Squad. Speaking of tear jerkers, very dusty. They're very, very dusty movie.
Suicide Squad?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Because it's misleading. The title there would.
nobody commits suicide. It was really strange. No, it was. I mean, it was a good summer popcorn kind of movie. Again, DC just felt like you could have done better.
Is DC just that bad at making movies? Does Sony have it wrapped up with Marvel?
Are they making money? I mean,
I don't
think
know.
They're
making money, but they're not making as much money. And that's a big deal. So,
Yes.
everybody wants these, because I find this part of the industry fascinating. Everybody wants these shared universes. And so they've got these, we're going to have, whatever, like the new King Kong movie that's come, by the way, if you haven't seen the trailers, it looks great. There's going to be a King Kong movie next year. and it's in
Another
the
one.
same universe as the Godzilla movie that came out just a couple years
Get
ago.
outta
Yeah,
here.
they're going to tie it all together, and that's kind of the thing. Everybody has shared.
Is that
universes.
DC or is that Marvel or is that somebody
Godzilla
else?
owns his own world, buddy.
He does what he wants.
I'm not up on my
Godzilla.
comic book lore.
Well, you don't have that's not comic book. I mean, and I'm I identify this because my son has discovered Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and my wife approved and actually egged it on now.
Why?
I don't understand, but he likes them, and
There'll be
so-
time to. It'll be
Yeah,
a
it'd
phase. It's
fine.
just a phase.
And that's the other thing we did Friday night is I showed my 4-year-old first Star Wars movie, A New Hope, for the first time.
A New Hope. Is that the new
The original
It's
first
number
Star Wars
number
movie.
3.
Number 3 if you're counting it. No, number 4. If
Oh,
you're
sorry.
counting it home.
Number 4.
That's the original Han Solo, Luke Skywalker,
Oh, okay.
Death
All right.
Star.
The
all
one
that
I
fun
went
stuff.
to when I was
Which is
16,
the absolute
17.
correct
Your
place to
age, probably
start.
17,
And if you had
18.
not started there, I
You're
might have
funny.
had to come kidnap your child and re-educate him.
Aye, right.
So, but we had to stop it about 20 times to explain what was going on. But he enjoyed it quite a bit and was talking about the next day. So I feel like I did my. I did not take him to go see Suicide Squad, by the way.
yeah, I don't blame you.
Margot
That
Robbie,
seems like
hello.
a-
Thumbs up. Hey. So enough about the. Well, what did you do this
I
weekend?
closed on a house.
Hey! Welcome to you, homo. Owner.
Whoa.
Homeowner.
Nice. We can edit that one out. Yes, it is. It's fun, but it's anxious. It's anxiety driven, I guess.
It's
You think?
your first house, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When you sign the house, they give you the chart of how much it's going to look like over 30 years. And as I'm turning the page, like, oh, there's another 4 something. There's another 4 something. Oh, they haven't even taxed taxes in yet. Oh, this is going to go up. Okay. So that was kind of miserable to see your life for the next 30 years on a sheet of paper, but. I'm super excited. A lot of space. I've got a lot of green space around us, which is what I wanted. I could plant a big old garden, which would be nice. Can't do that where I'm at currently.
Important question. When's the housewarming party? And are we invited?
Yes, and
No.
say 30
Probably
days.
not.
Let's say 30 days. Well, no, because now
Probably not.
I got some space that I can finally actually have a proper party, proper housewarming.
we could bring over like our Cooper's Pavilion tents. And
Oh, I'm getting a flag for that front. I want everybody in my
Yeah.
block to know who the hell I support. I'm going to try to
Absolutely.
find a city flag right in the front porch.
I'm going to go buy a bunch of egg crate padding, and we're going to build a sound studio in your basement.
Actually, that's funny you say that because we have space to do that underneath my porch. It'll be a little cramped, but
we're gonna do a podcast underneath your porch.
isn't that cool?
with the
The
cool
troll
possums? and
cool-ish.
the
Well, no
badgers?
possums. Raccoons won't bite you. I don't think. I don't know. I hope not. I don't know. But yeah, that was my weekend. Let's talk some soccer.
All right,
We're just talking
this is a
BS
soccer
here.
podcast, right?
Yeah,
That's kind of what
it's not a field hockey
Well,
podcast.
I mean, that's what we're talking about, right? We're supposed to talk about soccer and fluffing
I wanna
and carrying the water.
Oh, we gotta carry some water. and
gotta
fluff
carry some water, okay.
things. Okay.
So Saturday we played Rochester and go.
It was a little bit of the same. Honestly.
It was the same as Wednesday.
Which was the same as a number of our draws and or loss, which was there are a lot of disconnected passes. I think, you try to nail it down of what the problem is, and there's probably more than one variable that is affecting
Right.
this. But personally, I think it's I think we're lacking a real number 10 that's
Okay.
controlling the middle of the pitch.
Any agreements in that? I can see that. Where Magnus would have lined up last year, who was a good number 10 for us last year, McCabe is lined up there, but it doesn't seem like McCabe, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't know that McCabe and Hoffman have a cohesion.
I don't think McCabe's a natural number 10. McCabe's a great player, and he did a great job, but he hasn't been playing the last couple of games.
Names, right.
So
So they put Lancaster in on Saturday, and
Well, I kind of wanted to see Lancaster come in, but I didn't think I'd see Lancaster
Start.
and Hoffman
Oh,
come
okay,
in.
yeah.
And that kind of, I don't think that worked out that well.
are they the same type of player?
No, they're not the same type of player, but I think what Chandler needs is he needs a true number 10 behind him that is able to put the ball into space
Who's
so he
looking
can
for
run
him.
onto it and he can, do his thing. And I don't think Lancaster is providing that. Lancaster's a bruiser, physical type of player that, in theory, could create space for Chandler, but I
Right.
just don't think it was working.
Is he the closest thing we have to like a target man? Not a true center forward, but maybe
I don't know that he's a target man, but he's a run-on man.
He's a run-on man.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, I know what you mean.
He can run onto the ball very, very well from what I've seen him do.
He can strike the ball.
And he can strike the ball. I mean, he can make those small runs and get the ball into the net. What do you think about that, Brian?
So, well, I don't know if it's individual players or if this is if this run of form is my thought is it's probably one of two things. Well, the second one's a longer answer, but the first is we kind of had this happen last year towards the end of the season a little bit, and do teams figure out how we're playing and we don't have a plan B?
Yes.
Now this runs on to what we talked about off air, and I think we should get into it. Is Slugger Field has some unique characteristics to it that are different than any other field that they will play on, which is most of it is the size of the field.
Yeah, it's really small, and then it's made even smaller because they really do try to avoid some of those turf areas. I mean, because you saw them going down like,
they look like they're on skates half the time. I wouldn't want to run on there.
I mean, it's a bonus for us if we're defending against the opposing team who isn't used to it. But besides that, we're just as affected.
Well, and I wonder because, I think as a team, our team clearly wants to play with the ball at their feet. We want to play ball, we want to play, it's not ticky-tack, but it's a controlled game where the ball's played on the ground, not over the top, and that's the game that we want to play.
Well, you have to play that at Slugger because there's no over the top to go to.
And that's exactly my point is with that being the situation, you have no plan B. You can't play the ball over the top because the only option to play the ball over the top is a pinpoint pass. I mean, it has to be 100% accurate. And so if you're the defense, if I'm defending, I'm loading up on you. I'm gonna be right up on you. I don't have to be wary of any space behind. I don't have to be worried about speed on the wings. I don't have to worry about those things right now. And I think with a bigger pitch, when you get guys like Kadeem and George and Kay that can run onto people on the wings and can create that space, and the defenders have to play off them. They can't, if Kadeem's up there higher up the pitch, you can't play up on top of him if you've got 30 or 40 yards behind you.
It doesn't seem like we've been playing the wings very well, though, either. It feels like...
Well, they're so small, and I think what you're suggesting is why our away record is a little bit better than our home record is because we are playing on bigger fields and we're able to take advantage of the physical characteristics of our players.
Yeah, wider pitch. The more space you have, the more the advantage is to the more skilled, faster player. And a smaller pitch, a smaller field, the advantage is more towards the bigger physical. Think like Ken and I when we play soccer. That's where that's what we
Yes.
We're like bowling balls.
Yeah, like bowling balls, just running over people. So
I guess
that's just my thought on it.
And I actually, that's why Sean Reynolds, who's a big physical player, Paco Craig, and that's why they're thriving on Slugger. They're doing very well is because they are that type of player that can play on a field like that. So that's starting to make sense.
I wonder if this gives... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, we need to fluff something and carry some water, don't we?
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of fluffing and new stadiums, I guess this is a pretty appropriate time to say that maybe watching Slugger these last couple games and the limitations is another reason why we need to get out of there and get into a new stadium. Regardless of where it's put, that's no politics.
Our team's not playing well, therefore the taxpayer needs to pay money for a stadium. I don't think it's going to float very well.
No, it's not. But if it's private money, it doesn't matter, right? If it's private money, who cares?
Well, it matters to the investor.
Sure.
So, okay, now this is something we've talked about with the stadium. We've gone through our location game. We're not going to do that again here.
No.
If you need to listen to that, listen to the other 83 podcasts.
Yeah.
Because it's been discussed at length. So, I don't think we've ever talked about money for the stadium. And I know we're getting off subject of the...
but it's appropriate now.
We're getting off subject of the game. So let's go to the next thing.
Okay.
Show me the money.
I think this is an interesting topic. Is what involvement does the city have with the stadium? What involvement is private funding? Where does the private funding come from? How does that work? So you guys know more about this than I do. Go.
Well, if you don't want to lead, I would say that the city first starts in finding land that it's trying to get rid of or that it's already planned on improving. So let's just say River Road in theory.
I think there's more to it than that, right? Because, you got to think about who's in charge of the city right now and how they think.
Well,
and what they're trying to do is they're trying to tie the stadium to economic development, to creating synergy within the city that will improve areas. And there are a couple of ways you can go about it. You can do the ink blot theory, which is put it out in the middle of nowhere, and thus
Hopefully
things will grow around it.
Which is
or
hit
you
or
can
miss.
try to tie it, and we've talked about location. But those two different things are tied to how much it's going to cost, because real estate matters,
Yep.
especially when people catch on to where it's going to be. They start to hike up the prices.
All that speculation.
And that's why that portion of the report was pulled out, which was the portion everybody wanted to see, is because there's speculation of, they're going to start, trying to profit off of
It's
this
a very
whole
real
stadium.
dilemma.
But how do you pay for it?
So again, so let's just say that. So the city, in theory, the city donates the land and gives tax breaks.
I mean,
to
maybe
help
I don't.
build the
Well,
facility.
You can bond it.
There's an exclusion zone, which is what they did around Nulu, and that generated money for the Yum Center. Now, this
Which
is
is an
not-
exclusion zone?
Oh, it means it's a tax break zone that goes a mile or two around the stadium.
businesses
to
benefit.
generate.
So
Nulu,
businesses come down. Okay.
Well,
Nulu was generated by the Yum Center because Nulu falls within the exclusion zone of the Yen Center. That's
look what
how all
happened.
that happened.
okay.
So now
So
they're pushing
they're
the
gonna try to do
Southern
the same
Broadway. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
They're going to try to do the same thing, and that's why we think it's going to be 9th or 10th Street anchoring the other end of Broadway. They'll do a similar exclusion type zone to generate things like Over the Nine, to generate something like that over there to be able to spread.
But now you're talking
development.
about available space, and when you start getting in that area, the available space becomes.
But we still haven't gotten to who's going to pay for it.
Who's going to pay? So the city could bond it.
The city's role in this will be
They're going to.
the land.
They're
The
the-
land probably. And
It's
then
essentially the real estate agent.
tax breaks, those kind of things.
There's
so
some-
where does the hard money come from?
Well, there's
though,
some
to pay
scar
for the
tissue.
actual-
There's some scar tissue
Yum.
from publicly funded projects because of the Yum.
Yes.
So I really think the appetite for Louisville to partially publicly fund this stadium is not tenable.
Private should be at least 70%.
At least.
At least.
If
If
not
they can
more.
if they can do a full 80, 90, maybe 100
I really think that the city is thinking maybe they could do 10 to 15%.
over the course of so many years. Maybe you put a TIF in.
They were $10 million over, under budget this year, so they put that into roads. And I know there's a huge demand for money when you're under budget like that. But if it's a $30 to $50 million, 10 to 15% is
$5, $6.
$5-6 million. I think that's affordable over a couple of years. But where the heck does that 85% come from?
I mean, I can chip in some,
So-
but I want some naming rights.
Maybe there's investors.
Is it the Davis? I think the Davis Coliseum has a ring to it.
I like it.
BD Coliseum.
Davis Field.
Oh, Davis
You know what?
Field, BD Coliseum.
I'd like to name it the Rick House.
I would love to. That'd be great.
You're on fire tonight.
Well, no, because
you're just poking at everybody.
You line it with bourbon staves. You put that on the outside. You make it look real nice.
We're gonna do barrel. Next time we have Ken on here as the full-time guest, we're gonna have the full-time person. We're gonna do barrel-proof bingo and the list of people that Ken's gonna poke at during the
God.
episode. You got like a hit list.
Speaking of poking, let's take a break and let's
Yes.
talk
I think
about
that was a pretty
beer.
good clap. I don't know. So thank you, Adam, as always, for talking about that delicious beer that you're brewing. They do well with their names, don't they?
Yeah, sit your ass down is a phenomenal name for a beer.
I'm stuck on the. I don't know if they have Bloody Show out right now, but I love that one.
What was it?
Bloody Show.
Okay.
The Bloody Show. Are you
Bloody
familiar
Show.
with what the term?
No.
Okay, I don't need to. Okay, I don't need to.
I think I
discuss
got
it.
a good idea.
You
I
should.
think I got a good
You
idea.
absolutely should.
They have lots of birth-themed names
They do.
for their beers. And Adam and I have talked about that quite often. We
Birth
really
theme?
appreciate.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we ought to be vague
some-
about that.
We should
Mother
have-
Oedipus issues.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they have a curator for their beer names, but we need to have that person on that can recall.
They have an artist, which is phenomenal.
Robbie. He's amazing.
He's awesome.
There's a common noodlin. It's a dark,
Common, yeah.
the dark cherry sour. I'm stuck
Kentucky
on
Common.
that right now.
Yeah.
But the birth theme was my favorite beer that they're hoping to bring back. Adam has promised me is Meconium Falcon. So if anybody,
Meconium Falcon.
those of you who have had children might
Oh, that's
know what
good.
Meconium Falcon means. Another thing, actually,
He's just going to pass right over.
No idea.
We need to get back to
like you guys
fluffing.
are speaking-
We're not
thing
fluffing
that
well enough.
The
Adam
two of
and
you
I-
are speaking a language that Ken and I have no idea what it is you're talking about.
He's speaking a language I don't understand.
I got to get back to fluffing.
There's 3 languages
Real
going
quick,
on here.
another thing that Adam and I talked about actually right after we finished our little lunchtime recording
We heard it. We were
session.
sitting right here the whole time.
That's right. Brian is always quick to point that out. We talked about some of the locations that you were talking about, and we suggested perhaps Corn Island, which might be a bit soggy. But the advantage is we were talking about needing a big number 10 for our team. So if we have a water-based location, we can find if Bo Derek is perhaps available and get the slow motion bead dreadlocks running down the beach. Niall might be ticked off about it, but honestly,
He won't be that ticked off.
No, he'll be fine with that.
I think Niall, once we introduce him to who Bo Derek is,
Of
because he
all
probably
people.
doesn't know, he might really appreciate it.
Let me just point out how proud Tom is of this whole sequence that just happened.
That was like a in the park home run. You hit every base. You touched every base beautifully.
I am the Billy Hamilton of podcasts.
We just had we're now back down to 8 listeners. Thanks to that.
What was that?
I have no idea what just happened. All right, so
Back to fluffing. Okay.
So again, I'm willing to chip in on the stadium, but I want some naming rights, and I think we've decided on the BD Coliseum.
Oh, Coliseum.
Okay. Okay. So we said okay,
BD's
this-
Mongolian Coliseum?
So
BD Gardens.
where does the other 59,500,000?
No.
well,
We're
we
down to
don't-
40,
Oh,
30, 25 to 45 million.
Okay.
So where does that come from?
So there's
Wait, how much do you think I'm chipping in?
so there's multiple owners.
About a quarter.
You can afford that, right? You're good
If
for
it's-
that.
I think it's a tax write-off. So if it's a charitable donation, yeah, we're good.
Okay.
So the owners, I'm assuming that they can pony up a little bit, but maybe they bring in a new owner. Maybe there's someone else out there in Louisville that has
John
the kinda-
Schneider.
Of course.
I'm sorry, I had something in my
I mean, if
throat.
we want to
do
say
not
Thornton's,
want that.
No, you probably don't. Not
You don't.
This. No, you don't. You,
No,
you really
because
don't. want
he'll take it over and
Half
turn it
price
into something.
pizza.
No, man. I mean, he'll turn it into something that's not us.
right?
Right?
that. Papa's World. Jerry World, Papa's World.
Who knows
Sure.
what?
I'm just starting rumors at this point.
You might as well.
He has no
Let's
idea soccer
speculate.
even exists.
I do think though that the ownership group does have some access to funds. I mean,
Yes.
there's a lot of owners that are out front that are all predominantly minority owners, as I understand, and I don't know for sure. I think Wayne even is a minority owner. There are behind the scenes majority owner, singular, that sold a significant healthcare company and has a lot of dollars.
Well, it's time I came clean with you guys.
So you can pay for more than a quarter.
I can chip in more than. No, it's not me. It's still not me.
Oh, you're chipping less than a
I
quarter
did for
now.
a second. Ken's eyes got real wide. Like, really?
But you got to look at the landscape too.
I think as young as the city is becoming, I think it might be someone under 40 who may make that big investment. A business person.
I think the importance is do they think Division II soccer is a profitable endeavor in America?
Now that's
Well, not even
That's
America.
a fundamental question,
That
right?
is.
Because
in the not just in America, in Louisville, Kentucky.
in Louisville, Kentucky.
Because we've shown that I think
Thank you, sir.
if you look at the financials, MLS teams are making money
yes.
now and have been for a few years.
But MLS is also a league that's propped up on the
Expansion fees. Yeah, I saw that article.
which just went up to $200 million. I really think that
Thank you, Michael Ray.
that the teams that have been looking at MLS, including us, that should make them stop and think.
Yes.
Can I still make money as Division II?
Yes, I think you can. I think
I
in
think you
fact,
can.
maybe with these fees going up the way they are, maybe more teams are going to rethink and say, well, how do we make our league better than MLS? I get that money can put a lot of good players, maybe better than Division II players on MLS teams. But the product on the field for USL is going to get better. There's going to be more opportunities for people outside of the country to come in and play. We don't have a draft of any sort for USL, so it's,
I do not want to turn this into a pro-rel discussion.
No, it's not going
But
to be.
pro-rel is a significant fact out there.
It is.
American sports fans are learning about pro-rel more and more
And they're
every
interested.
day, and they're interested. It's a novel idea.
Think
to
about
some.
the underdog story. We're not going to go too deep into it.
Exactly.
We love underdogs.
So if I'm an
Unless they're playing
investor,
the Americans.
Right, yeah.
Unless they're playing us.
am
then
I
we
going
don't
to
like
pony
that.
down $200 million if there's a chance that we're going to go to pro rel in 10 years? Because you throw down $200 million, you're not looking at a profit unless you sell your team.
Is that
to
a
somebody
preemptive
else.
strike by MLS to try to calm that discussion? Let's just raise it to 200.
No,
Do you really
I-
want
Is it going to come?
No, I don't think anything calms. We've talked about these people, and I think every reasonable soccer fan in the country looks at pro rel and says it would be great here.
It would be.
There is no such thing as I firmly believe this. There is no such thing as an anti-pro rel person. I don't think they exist.
They just don't know.
What there are is there are realists who look at the financial landscape.
No, they're realists, and then there's ownership groups in the MLS that have ponied up 110 to 200 million dollars
To get in the damn
that are
league.
not
Right.
to get in the league, and they're not going to allow
Okay.
it to happen. And they also are the same people that are on the board of the United States Soccer Federation.
Yeah.
So so that's 100 people. There are 100 people for their own financial benefit, maybe more, but there's a very small group of people, small percentage that are anti-pro rel.
Yes.
The rest of us, the people that we're talking to, because I assure you those people are not listening to our podcast, the people that we're actually talking to are all either I'm pro rel right now, or you know what, pro rel's cool idea. I just don't think it's reasonable. I think most people that are reasonable individuals look at it and say pro rel's not realistic in the environment we live in today. If you take pro rel, we would have been promoted to MLS last year.
Yes.
Right?
If MLS was not a single entity system, which is what it is right
yep.
now. It's they take profits as a league and they divide it amongst all of the owners.
Which,
if that didn't exist and it was a single team ownership, like the NASL, would pro rel be more probable?
Yes. Absolutely. Yes,
yes.
absolutely. Because that's where it works everywhere else in the world. But it's not, and it's not going to happen because the way MLS is set up and structured, and it has its faults, and it has a lot of faults, and we could probably talk about those for a while. But those faults have kept the league afloat for 20 years, which no other league has ever made it, and it's actually expanding
Yes.
and getting better.
It's expanding and getting better because the sport is expanding and getting better.
So it's not as a result of the league, it's a result of the game.
And I
All of the above. I think it's
agree
all of the above.
with the
hand
strategy
in hand.
that MLS used initially, just like everybody else who has half a brain does, because they didn't know if it was going to succeed or fail. But I really think they're starting to swim upstream a little bit. I think that,
MLS.
MLS. I really do.
But I don't think sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I just think that most reasonable people, and I'm not talking about this ridiculously vocal small minority that looks and said we have to have this now. I think most reasonable people that talk about the sport, that discuss it, look at it and say it's a great idea. We're not anywhere near being ready for it.
We're not anywhere near, meaning
even-
no, it's not going to happen in the next year or 2 or 3 or 4.
But you have to build towards something.
I'm
5
talking
or 10.
10 years. I'm talking long game here. And when you're an investor in a club, you're thinking, I'm not
game.
making
You
a
have
good
to.
profit for 10 years.
Right.
So if we're thinking long game, I only want to shift slightly. NASL is second division. They want to challenge MLS to first division. At this point, NASL is set to lose Minnesota.
It's
They already
silly.
lost Atlanta. They're
It's silly.
sinking. So if NASL wants to challenge MLS and USL wants to stay relevant and not a farm team, is it in the best interest of NASL to join back with USL because they
never happen.
split?
No.
But
there's been
USL has sold their soul to MLS.
you think for forever and ever?
I mean, who knows what the agreements are, but I mean, we're supporting their reserve league. I mean, it's
Well, they don't play in the
as
U.S.
a-
Open Cup. They are allowed to play in the USL playoffs.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was, I don't know.
I mean, that makes sense.
I'm not going to throw on my tinfoil hat, but they had to do something to show that they were a legitimate league.
And that's not unusual, though. I mean, you're talking about, we were talking about, the reserve team for Werder Bremen plays in the 4th division.
Right.
In Germany. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not unusual for it
No.
to happen in other countries.
Correct.
I don't think we should be hung up. I know
not.
you don't like it.
I
think
hate
it's,
it.
I think it's good for the league. It adds quality players to the league.
I mean, look at New York.
I don't think it's an ideal scenario, but it's something.
Don't misquote me. I hate the fact that I'm in the same league as the reserve teams. I want to be better. People give me a hard time because I want Louisville to go into the MLS. Why? Because I want the best players in the world to come to Louisville and play us, and I want to go to best players in the world, best players in America, at least.
Right.
And I want to go there and I want to play them. I want to be at the best level. Right now, that's MLS. That's where I want my city to be.
Right, and I agree with you.
Okay.
And I think most people do. The ones
Well, I'm
don't,
glad.
the ones that don't want to be a big fish in a small pond. And that's really the analogy to use.
Yeah.
That, that's what they want. I'm a big deal in this. Somebody that's talked about fluffing and water carrying. I've seen posts and said, well, I don't want my team to go to ML. I don't want my team to go to MLS because now all of a sudden, instead of having 2,000 fans and everybody knows who I am, now all of a sudden we're going to have a supporter section that's 7,000 people and you're just another guy. And some people don't want that. They really don't want that.
I want to be the best.
And I'm with you.
I want to punch above my weight. We're a
Yes.
medium-sized city in the United States, and I want to beat the big ones.
And we can. I think we
And we
absolutely
can. Why not? Go Leicester, LCFC.
Right. Those
Something-
stories are made.
Something that Ken said was about USL selling its soul, and I'm pretty sure that the USL leadership met a black-dressed man on a crossroads in Mississippi in the middle of the night. But speaking of carrying
Like blood exchanged. I don't
carrying the
know.
water for MLS,
Carry.
do you want to talk about USL and the video assist technology that they're
Yes,
trialing?
actually, because this is
Excellent
very
segue, and
appropriate.
Beat me to it.
Segue.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful segue.
By the way,
Speaking of segues, did you see the segue hit Bolt?
That was last year.
replay. I know it was last year. I just saw it though this year. I don't watch the World Champions of Track. I don't know what
It was all over
station
you.
It would
it's
sound
on.
like you do.
there's 4 letters I need you to learn. ESPN. It was all over it last summer.
Dude.
It was like the not top 10 play.
I
ESPN
watch
is the
ESPN
new,
and
like,
NBC Sports now.
And
TMZ for sports now, apparently. I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
turns out Bolt
I don't
seems
know.
like a pretty small
right.
guy when it's all said.
We got to
and
get
done.
back on the
Speaking
segue.
of bolts, that has nothing to do with video replay. That was used in the New York game versus Orlando City recently on a Friday night, I believe. And it actually produced a red card, and it did produce a yellow card. Video replay.
So, do you like it?
I don't know. I don't know. Yes, if I'm a Louisville fan and they had it at, say, the Charleston game, I think it probably would have turned the call around. Even in the Orlando City, that
Okay.
penalty that Turner takes.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna link this onto.
We play on Friday.
We'll link some stuff onto our Twitter account here in the next day or two. So if you're listening, to
Okay.
this, check our Twitter account, and we'll link some of the video from this. So the one that, and I don't know, I looked today.
Is it the first one or the second one you're talking about?
The first one I've seen a lot of.
Yeah.
The first one is the one that basically there's the offensive player from New York Red Bulls gets around the Orlando B, Mickey Mouse B, or whatever we call him, and he's taken down. And the referee initially spots the foul just outside the box. And then he gets communication. There's a fifth referee or fifth official, a video assistant referee, a VAR, very fancy term, a VAR. And he, so the VAR communicates and says, you want to take another look at this. So the video referee does the outline of a box, is the universal
I love
signal
that.
now, is the outline of the box. The
Sign
kids are
symbol for
confused.
pool, right?
Huh?
Pool.
Is that what that means?
Is that what that means? I
Yeah.
have no idea. Okay.
Shit.
Well, we've taken it over and we're using it for something else now.
I have no idea, man. I'm just making that up.
Right.
And
I believed you. I'm
so
gullible.
he goes to the side, jogs over to the sidelines, and this all takes place in like 45 seconds. He jogs over to the sidelines for a dude
Look.
holding a flat screen TV.
How
Literally.
big? Was it a
And-
42 inch?
and
That's
you
what
can
I want to
tell-
Oh,
know.
30, 36, 36.
It's in four. It's in four.
It's HD.
It's showing 4 different screens on there.
Was it
wasn't
one of
even
them
those-
curvy ones?
No, it wasn't
No?
that fancy. USL can't afford
Did
that.
he have a cable running?
The poor. I just think the poor guy's glad that video replay happened today and not like
Yes.
10 years ago
Yes.
when he had to hold one of those huge tube TVs. Yeah. So
Why did I sign up
So,
for
anyway,
this?
so the guy goes over, and the ref watches it and very quickly changes where the spot of the foul and red cards the Orlando B player, which is probably the right call because he fouls him on a one-on-one with the goalie from behind, taking away a clear goal-scoring opportunity. I think it was the right call.
Does it ruin the flow of the game? And is there really a flow to the game if the ref's calling left and right anyhow?
There's a fantastic argument that I heard Jason Davis on his show yesterday talking about this, and he said, or was yesterday or today, I don't know what it was, but he basically said, I don't want video replay, and this isn't like an old man, don't change my game, because part of what makes soccer beautiful and makes it fun and makes sports fun is the bad call.
Spot on. It's more than that, because I have a philosophical problem with video replay. It's because I love soccer because of its unpredictable nature.
Okay.
And it's unpredictable because you have referees that will make bad calls, and you can't
quick
predict
calls
that stuff.
that are bad.
You watch. This is why I don't like baseball.
Or-
is because you can run the numbers on baseball. What is it, Moneyball or whatever it
Moneyball.
was, and you can almost predict an outcome. You can start to do that in football, and there are people that are also trying to do that in soccer as well. I don't like that. The reason why we are so passionate about our sport is because we don't know what's going to happen, and you never know. You never know when you're going to beat that team.
You can't say that Packers fans, NFL Packers fans, are more or less passionate than we are about football.
I did not say we were more or less passionate. I said the reason why we were passionate. I didn't say they weren't passionate. But one of the reasons why I'm passionate is because we could beat all of those teams, and we could be sitting atop of the whatever
League.
league. Name your league.
You know,
You're on the fence, aren't you?
yeah, I am, because I think goal line technology is good, right? I think goal line technology.
Yeah,
is
okay, I'll
good.
go with goal line
Goal line
technology.
technology is good,
But this goes past goal line.
Yeah, and I think it does. And I can't find when they can replay. I look for it today to find out what the guidelines are, because there's certain situations you can and can't. There has to be. It
You would
can't
think.
just be you can review anything
Every time.
I'm not suggesting we get some clown off the street to come and ref a game that will just make, random calls. I think we still need to have a regimented training program for our refs to make
Agreed.
it as fair as possible.
Have you not watched a single one of our games this year? Of course, they're getting clowns off the street to referee. Where do you?
I think there was a 16-year-old.
That's right. You don't get to watch any games, do
don't
you?
watch games.
Kids never watched an actual Louisville City game. By the way, they're getting clowns off the street.
Evidently.
There may have been a 12-year-old reffing as one of the side judges at this past game. I'm not sure. The dude was maybe 3
I think
feet
we
tall.
did establish that there was somebody that was like 18 years old.
17.
A 17-year-old
Yeah.
in one game.
How much did this slowed the game down?
It was 45 seconds.
It actually it wasn't too bad. But
Remember, referee, at that point, when that foul happens, you're going to have players around the ref. The game stops
Anyway.
because
I
players
know,
are
but
going,
that's
they're
part
talking,
of
they're
that's part of the fun, right?
Yeah.
it gives everybody a break.
I am
It
torn
brings
about
out the
this.
drama, right?
Yeah.
It's about the
Yeah.
drama. Are they going to surround the guy who carrying the TV with the
Well, they
extension
did.
cord?
They almost did. He had to call them off.
That actually would have been pretty fun. I would have enjoyed that a lot.
Pointing at
Just
the TV.
delete the video.
That's where I was. Yeah, delete the video. It doesn't exist. It never happened.
Some guy's unplugging the TV.
I would have paid money to see that.
It will happen.
Our guys I think are going to be playing a game with video replay.
They are Friday night.
Friday night.
I will happily pay. Okay, I'm not going to say pay whatever fine, but guys, if you're listening, Sean, if you're listening to this and you're on the bad end of it, please go over and unplug the TV.
Yes.
Please,
That would
please,
be
please.
hilarious.
Chandler might listen to this. Chandler,
It's-
please,
I'm
please,
pretty sure
please.
that's not in the rule book. You can't get a red card for unplugging
Or a
the
yellow
TV.
Well, we don't know. We'll find out, won't
Yeah.
we? Well, okay. Now you mentioned when are they going to use it?
Well, and
in scoring situations, I would think.
No, because
near the
second,
box.
The second, there was another one in the second half.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Well, they used it 3 times basically. So that was the first half. The second half was to give a player a yellow card where it looked like the ref may have been giving a red card in a situation. And the third one was to verify that a player was not offsides on a goal. So, my thought is, you two giggling about something.
Fluffing.
Fluffing. You guys are fun.
You're not carrying water.
You're not carrying anybody's water right now. My thought is, goal line technology is fine. But, we can all look at, well, actually, let's not use us as an example. Let's use smart people. How many times, because we are not smart people.
Thank you.
How many times do we see on a Premier League live show when you have some of the smartest, best people that know the game better
Like
than
Alexi
anyone else?
Lawless?
Okay, let's leave Lexi out of this. But, okay, well, don't take Premier League. Take during the World Cup coverage.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, you get Michael Ballack on there, and you get Roberto Martinez, 2 very well-respected, smart guys that know the game, and they'll see a call, and they'll look at the call 2 different ways. So I don't know that the video replay changes.
Interesting.
Who knows what a handball is half the time?
That's true.
So
That's
I
a
don't
good
know
point.
what instances you do it in.
Okay, so I guess I'm the old
I could see it being
I'm old.
if you're going to play it in live situations. I could see it. I think I would. I think I would be okay. Obviously, goal line technology is good. I think offsides, which is a black and white issue,
Can
I'm
that
a little okay with that.
Can you video replay on offsides?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
about fouls and red cards?
I'm not sure.
Handballs,
So much of that is gray areas.
That seems.
throw-ins. Let's do it for throw-ins. Let's make sure everybody's doing a
No,
legal
you can-
throw-in.
Oh hell, for that matter, if you're moving on a wall. But but that's a
you
good
can
point
have
though.
a set of rules and say we can, and I would think again. I would think for offsides that would be okay because that is a black and white issue.
Especially if
You're
a
either on
goal
or
was
off.
scored.
And we've had it happen twice to us where they were taken away.
Well,
But-
the game stops at that point anyway. So
Right, yeah.
If 45 seconds is still a long time.
So-
But it doesn't have to be that long. Think about it. If you're doing goal line, it can be the referee in the car calling saying, okay, he was off or on. The referee in the middle of the pitch does not have to look at it.
I mean, the EPL has technology on a watch where should the ball pass the complete plane of the goal line, the watch rings.
That's your goal line
That's your goal line. Okay, that is. Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay, I thought you meant
but
as
potentially,
camera.
if a guy is offsides, he could radio down to the guy with the flagman to raise the flag.
I mean,
You
ideally,
could do
that's-
that.
I think you'd even just go straight to the
I'm speculating here.
because you're doing a video replay, so it's not in real time. And if it was somebody that if a goal was scored, you can go back and look because the game stopped anyway, and you can look and say, okay, he was off or on, and decide
Right.
if you want to call it back.
Right.
I think I'm okay with that. I'm not 100% sold, but the other stuff, I'm kind of with you. There's too many gray areas,
Yeah.
and
Isn't that part of the fun?
I don't know about the fun. We've
I mean,
been on the
there's-
receiving end of the not so.
But
fun.
but the other team's been on there.
But it balances out. I'm with you. I'm not a huge fan of it, except in those two circumstances.
I want
Those
to
are
see
my
how it
thoughts.
runs out the rest of the year. I don't know where I am yet.
So Friday we have a big game.
New York Red Bulls.
Yeah.
Red Bulls.
Baby Bulls.
Sugar-free
You know,
Red Bulls.
people say it's a must win. Do we think it's a must win?
I mean, they've
Yes.
got two games in hand on us, and we're tied in points. Yeah, I think it is.
It's absolutely a must win.
I think this makes or breaks our season.
okay.
Well, hold on. It doesn't make or break our season
don't think-
because
No,
we
it
talked
doesn't.
about
We're still gonna
we
get in
talked
the
about
playoffs.
we talked about before the season what would be a successful season, and we said what?
Same. If we finished second,
We just said make the playoffs. We didn't even say second.
fair. I mean, if we place the same as last year, I think that's still a win.
I agree.
We didn't get worse.
That's what we said going into
I'm
the season.
sorry, I'm a little bit more competitive. Win the fucking season.
Well, no.
You might want to edit that.
All
Or
right?
not. Maybe not.
And all right,
There's nothing wrong with
Win the fluffing season.
Fluffing. The coach O'Connor, love him to death. What did he say? He said that.
Okay, Tom, repeat what he said.
What did he say?
Coach has been saying that the team is desperate for success.
That's bull pokey, because the team somebody needs to light a fire under their damn
Show some
asses,
teeth.
show some teeth, and score some damn goals. And it's starting to peeve
I
me
agree.
off a little bit.
Tim's a little
I
wild
swore.
out there.
Hey, you took an Uber over here,
Yeah.
I did.
and you're taking an Uber home.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so enjoy it. I like you fired up. I like Ken fired up rather than like Ken just getting
I
off
mean,
work.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Get
like
off
that.
work,
I like this.
yeah.
I love our players, and I'll clap them even when they tie. I'll clap them even when they lose. But listen, win the damn game.
Win the damn games.
Which is another point that Coach has been making repeatedly is he's very happy with us showing up and screaming our bloody heads off.
So supporters, you guys are doing a hell of a job out there.
But the players need to understand that they start losing games, dropping points.
People
will not
show
show up.
That's true. That's true. Do you think we're fair weather fans in Louisville?
I think some are.
There's always fair weather
There's
fans.
fair weather
Anywhere
fans
you go.
everywhere.
But we haven't been around long. We don't know. We've
Yeah, we don't know.
never had. We've had.
We have not had a bad season yet.
A tough stretch is considered 2 games where we tied right now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
We have first world problems.
we do.
we do.
We could be St.
do.
Louis. We just fired our coach.
Mr. Shilley was
nice
put out to the
segue.
pasture.
Oh, do we need to talk about New York Red Bulls anymore? Beat the team.
No,
they're a big, strong team.
Earn it.
Beat them.
This is a good win.
Play our game on their big field in New York.
And their dumb faces
In their
And they're dumb
I don't know. I
faces.
mean,
Tim's a master of trash talk.
and your stupid haircuts and your
dumb faces and your terrible pizza.
I didn't say anything about pizza.
And I do like New York style pizza. But anyway, no, I think it's a must win. I mean,
It's a must-win.
It doesn't mean the season's a disaster and we failed as a season. But if you want to win the league, if
You
that's
have
the goal,
to.
which
You
is
show it.
everyone's goal, We have to win. We have to win.
We have got to let everybody know that we are Louisville City.
We
Yeah.
mean business.
And we mean business.
Yeah.
And we are going to light it up.
I want to see him play.
So get on it.
I want to see him play hard defense. If it's not a pretty offensive game, that's fine. I don't care if they have to be gritty and grind it out. I want to see tough defense. I want to see him take it to the Red Bulls.
I disagree.
I want to see
flair.
him.
I want to see him pass all around so that those New York defensive men, their heads are spinning, and we're just putting the ball in at will. It's like the Brazilian national team of name one of their 5 or 6 World Cups that they've won.
Prior to
that kind of stuff. That's
Yeah.
what I want to see. I want to see our 3 offensive midfielders and Chandler Hoffman just lit on fire. Every pass connecting up there.
I would love to see
I'm doing a
that.
little name dropping here. We met Jay DeMerit in Philadelphia this past year during the Gold Cup.
Talking about
During the Gold Cup. Oh, no. What was that tournament this year? Copa America?
What in the heck?
He was, I don't know, I'm drinking. Not as much as Ken. But he talked about that Brazil game where Brazil came back when we were up, 2-0?
Yeah.
And they came back and beat us 4-2 or whatever in the
Right.
Confederations Cup. And Jay was talking about it. He said, when we played Brazil, we had, usually you have an idea of where your offensive players are as you're watching them, where they are. He said he had no clue where the next attacker was going to come from.
Really?
They just came from everywhere, and they swarmed the attack, like out of position, crazy stuff. And he said, we were just playing, just trying to figure out where the next guy's coming from. They had no idea how to mark them. Let's see that.
That's what you
Let's
want.
see some
That's what I want to see.
So you want
Chaos.
creativity. You want to see some new stuff.
Yeah.
New things.
I think that's how we play the game.
I don't think it's new. I think we have that, and
Go
we've
back
shown
to-
that.
Okay.
And I think we're playing on the right type of field, and we have the right players in the right spots, and they're starting to connect up top with their passing. We certainly have that ability.
Yeah. It
Our
showed.
players are definitely good enough to do
We
that.
saw that at the
Yep.
beginning of the year. I
We
don't see why it's
did.
any different now. Why now? I don't know.
All right.
It's
so-
a number 10.
Yeah, it's. I
Derek.
applaud you for standing by that because I'm starting to believe that. I'm a believer in the number 10.
We'll beat it into you.
In the system we play,
We
yes.
need it. We absolutely need
In the
it.
system
I'll
we play.
agree.
Woody
There are
Allen
other
will be
systems
at our
you don't
next
necessarily
match.
have to have it, but in the system we play, yes.
I'm starting to. Yeah.
All right.
What else
All
we
right.
got?
We were talking about what happens when you have a losing season.
Oh man.
So let's talk about women's soccer.
Ooh. Well, just a couple things about losing seasons is St. Louis fired their coach.
Yeah.
It was about time. I mean,
Well,
They've been calling for it.
not a big surprise. I think they were troubled with it because everybody liked him as a person.
Yeah.
So it made it that much harder.
And he's an institution in St. Louis
He
soccer.
is.
Chile, yeah.
That was a really, really tough and brave call by St. Louis. And I hope they made a mistake and they keep losing games.
Well, they're far enough. I don't think they have enough time to catch up a playoff spot.
Well, no,
So I don't understand what
uh,
the point is.
If you win a couple games in the West, it puts you like there. It's a little tighter out there.
Yeah, it is pretty tight.
It's tight. And now,
Okay.
I mean, Colorado was 2 or 3 games behind everybody. They finally caught up in hand, and now they're at the lead. They're in the lead on the West Coast, just like last year.
Yeah, firing a coach, that doesn't always work.
It
though,
doesn't.
right?
But did they have a choice? They couldn't finish the year out in a losing streak. They were in playoff contention. Now they're falling out. I mean,
Depends on
you
who-
said it's got to be. You have to be brave in a
You
situation.
got to be
like
brave.
Absolutely. So
So other losers,
that. Yes,
it's hurtful. So the
It
women
is.
lost to Sweden.
I'll be back.
Sweden bunkered. Miss you. Sweden bunkered. That's basically what the game worked.
Well,
Dirty the
wouldn't-
game,
wouldn't you?
Nasty the game. That's what you have to play them. It doesn't always work, and that's just what happened. So looking ahead now, the Olympics are a big deal or not a big deal? Ken, go.
I actually,
Women's soccer.
I'm biased. Women, that's tough. I think it should really be about the World Cup. I mean, it's 2 years off. Well, Women's World Cup is 1 year off the World Cup or 3 years, depending on how you're counting.
Tom, what do you think? Big deal, not a big deal.
I think women's Olympic soccer is a big deal and men's Olympic soccer is not a big deal.
You are correct.
I'm not correct. I'm correct.
It's
are
a
you
big
talking
deal.
about?
It's a huge deal. It's a massive
Ken,
deal.
you're not wrong.
And the reason is because there
I'm
are
not right either.
You are not wrong. And Ken just blew a gasket. No,
What are you talking about?
The women's Olympic tournament is a massive deal. The reason it's a massive deal is there are no other tournaments for the women to play in
Yeah, it's
other
called
than
the World Cup.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of the World Cup.
Yeah, but the problem I have
Not
with,
quite the equivalent.
The problem I have with soccer in the Olympics, which is great because it's a sport, is there's so much other stuff going on. It detracts from this is the number one thing, right?
Right.
And I want to see the women doing really well and being the number one thing. And when you got weightlifting, boxing, and field hockey, and fencing, and swimming,
Right. So then
it's not the number
you're
one
saying
thing.
you only want the women to play in one major tournament every 4 years, and that's it. No major club tournaments.
Okay. I feel I'm getting led into an L-shaped ambush right now.
I'm not trying to. That's not where I'm trying to lead you down.
No,
Though
because
you may get
they
attacked
don't
on
have
Twitter.
the pro stuff. They don't have the Champions League, and that. So you're saying that
There's no European championship. There's no Copa. There's no Gold
I
Cup.
get your point. So this and the World Cup
Yeah.
is important.
Yeah, I think so.
I think the World Cup for women is very important because it's all about soccer. It's just one sport.
it's more important.
I don't want.
It's the World
Well,
Cup is
okay, so it's
definitely
more
It
important.
is more important.
So
but-
I win.
But
Next,
but the
next
Olympics,
topic.
I thought we had you. I thought we had you.
But the
inflated.
Olympics they're not like the men's. The men's Olympics is kind of a joke.
It is.
The only reason Brazil cares is because they've never won it. It's in there and it's in Brazil. That's why they care. But normally we care because we want development. We want any
Right.
chance to see younger players play. But most of these other countries, it's not really a big deal.
Well, I mean, I'd also like to see women playing professional and have professional leagues and have, similar opportunities that the men do. And you're not going to really do that through the Olympics. You're going to do that through a system that leads into the World Cup.
You're making too much sense right now for U.S. soccer.
I need to keep
I think
You
to
realize-
kind of unify the ideas, Ken is making absolute sense, but Brian's point is that the Olympics is currently one of the few showcases that women's sports has.
Absolutely.
I
Especially
agree with
for
that.
women's soccer. Absolutely.
I agree with that.
So now we're looking at
happened?
2019 because it's an odd schedule because it's the year after the World Cup. That's why no team, if you didn't know this, no team has ever won the gold medal in the Olympics the year after winning the World Cup.
Really?
Nope, it's never happened. Now we've won 4 gold medals. This was the quest for 5.
If anybody was going to do it, we were going to do it. And
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. But there's a number of factors. But here's some numbers I'm going to throw at you. In 2019, Hope Solo will be 38.
Hey!
We're not going to talk about her comments, but unless you guys really want to.
Nope.
Carly Lloyd will be 37. Rapinoe will be 34. Alex Morgan will be 30. 3 of our 4 defenders will be in their 30s by then. I'm assuming that's everybody but Julie Johnson. So we're starting to see the changing of the guard. I think Jill Ellis needs to go, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah. Well, of course, the coach. I mean, coaches can only last so long as the national team coach, and then they need to move on.
Does she make the 2019?
Yeah, because
but
women's again, it's a different animal. This isn't like coaching it's not like coaching the Italian national men's team. It's a different thing.
You're talking about the age of the players, but I'm going to counter that argument with they don't get beat up because they don't play as many games as our men's team players because they're playing all the professional leagues and all that stuff. So they last a little bit longer. Don't you think that's a legitimate argument to having older
it's one
players on the
argument.
team?
I
It
don't
might be
think
one.
I don't think when you're 37 years old and you're trying to compete against 27, 28 years old.
Yeah, no, that doesn't
even if
matter.
you're Carly Lloyd and you're the best player in the world right now, I just think there's the,
How old was
drive-
Jay Demerit at the last World Cup he played? 2012. He was in
I'd
his
have to look.
mid-30s, right? We'll take on. DeMarcus Beasley, what, 36?
No,
At the 35 in the last
Yeah,
World
he's
Cup.
pretty old.
he was older, but not that.
Not
old.
like right.
No, I just think your body wears down. You also get into issues of desire and want. And other distractions. And the reason the women's players hold on longer is because they don't make the same money. from their clubs. They don't get the
No,
same
that's
endorsement
that's
deals.
true.
These are real reasons.
Yeah.
There's a reason Abby
Yeah.
Wambach played till she was 38 years old, and the reason for that is this is where they make their money. So, and they get their endorsement deals, and it's the cold reality of the sport. And the way the collective bargaining agreement works, it's very difficult for the coach to get the to phase out older players. It's not easy. So if Hope Solo wants to keep playing until she's 38,
She can.
She can probably keep playing for the U.S.
I
team.
don't know because there are now a plethora of legitimate reasons to go to the next.
Yes.
Guess what? And there were before
Keeper.
the Olympics.
Well,
that hasn't stopped.
Okay.
It was just one more. It was just one more notch for her.
Killing me.
Anyway, we can
right.
keep going on about this. All right. So,
Well, do they have a younger batch of players that
yes,
can take the mantle?
There's some people that yes. You got Morgan Bryan. You've got Pugh. You've got Dunn. You've got part of it we missed.
Well, who's playing for North Carolina right now? That's what I want to know, huh?
But
That seems to be the hotbed.
we had two of our strikers were out with Sydney LaRue and
she's pregnant.
A-Rod. We're both whatever his name is Rodriguez. We're both pregnant right now. So I mean we're missing some players, but that's the nature of the women's
That
game.
is- that
So
is.
That's just what happens.
Men don't have to worry about that.
All right.
Is it that time?
It is getting to that time.
Okay, so buckets of water, full. Fluffed.
We have
I think
fluffed.
the team is properly fluffed.
We need to do some
are-
fluffing.
Yes. Do we need more?
Well, speaking of fluffing, watch parties.
Friday night or Saturday? No, Friday
Our
night.
glorious, wonderful club will be having their watch party here
Right
at Boombaz Friday
yep.
night.
We have
Anybody
sussed
know
it
the
out.
time? 7
ish.
ish.
I mean, you're buying what? It'll probably
7:30.
start early. Let's get here 6:30.
You know what? Show up at 3:30.
Oh, yeah.
Stay till 10.
Yeah,
to
why
catch
not?
a soccer game.
You
Yeah.
might. You'll probably. Chances are
and
good.
Uber home. It had the Alzo cheese bread.
Unless
by the
you
way.
can walk.
Phenomenal.
But if you're not into the huge fluffiness, then there's the great beer at Against the Grain because they will also be doing
They will all, yes,
A watch party.
as they always will.
as they always do.
And you can grab one of those cool named beers that they have. Any parting shots for anybody?
Was there a question?
We did have
might have been.
one hashtag Ask Barrel Proof question from some guy. I'm not really sure what his deal is, but his name is Taylor Searles.
Searles?
I don't like that guy already.
I don't know how to spell
Something
it.
along those lines. It sounds like some name from like the deep woods of Kentucky. I don't know.
A plant.
He said to us at hashtag Ask Barrel Proof, what is your favorite Jung Yun Sun fact? Because, of course, Jung Yun has left us to go back to college and then go back to do national service in Korea.
He had a very symmetrical haircut.
Wow.
Are you
really
saying he was
more
from
than you know.
North Korea, perhaps, instead of South Korea? Because they have, like, official haircut regulations.
They said he was South Korean.
He is not from Best Korea. He's from South Korea.
And I would agree with
Our
that.
one North Korean listener just got hurt.
That one time he ran a lot up and down the sidelines, and I thought, this guy puts a shift in. That's my favorite fact.
Well, speaking of putting his shift
And
in,
he was a nice guy when we met him.
speaking of putting his shift in, he's going to go serve his country.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's my fact.
Yes. So that's a
Cheers
lot,
to
actually.
that. Good luck on the DMZ. I've been there.
Oy. Oy.
Name
Were you-
dropper.
Oh, you know a guy.
I know a guy.
Okay, so yeah, parting shots. Anybody?
Tim, where can we find you?
You can find me, I believe, at The City Lad. That's capital T, capital C, capital L. And you might find me at the Lady Boy. Because the Lady Boy's celebrating a house. I don't know what he's doing in there, but he's celebrating.
I'm on the Twitter at B_doing, DOING_work. You can find the Barrel Proof Podcast at Barrel Proof FC.
Okay, so if you want to find me, I'll be in front of the LCFC building in the mornings. And whenever the front office people come in, I open the door for them. And then I make their coffee and I fluff their pillows and make sure they're comfortable in the office.
that what
So
fluffing
that's
Is that- is
not
that
what
the-
fluffing means.
And then when they ask, I go out and carry
Show me
some
that motion again.
water, fluff. Can't see it. You have to watch YouTube to see it. And that's what I do.
And I will be on a beach with Bo Derek.
This is
bad. This
this
is like
has
the
been Barrel
most.
Proof number 84.
Yeah.
Ken's legendary fluffing Barrel Proof.
Yeah, it has
We'll
been.
see you guys next week.
Bye.